All right, welcome everyone. I'm Sophie Alexander. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the owner and lead practitioner at the Nutritional Wellness Center in Ithaca, New York, and I'm excited to be sharing with you today my talk called Debunking Myths About Weight Loss, Drugs, and Alternatives. So this has been a topic that comes up a lot with clients. I feel like everybody either knows somebody on Ozempic or knows someone who has a horror story about Ozempic or knows somebody who's doing well on it. People are curious about it for themselves. They want to understand it better. And then I think what's exciting to me is people want to understand how these drugs work and what are other things that we can do to support these processes in the body in a safe way. So first, let's jump right into some myths about weight loss drugs. So a myth is that weight loss drugs are a quick fix, that you can stop eating healthy and stop exercising once you're on these drugs, and you'll just lose weight anyway, that everyone can take them, and that you'll lose weight no matter what you eat. These are all not true, and I will get more into it. Some other myths that you can stop taking the drug after you reach your goal weight and then the weight will stay off. I've seen really mixed things about this with clients, that these drugs are entirely safe and free of side effects. I have definitely not seen that. I've seen people really struggle on them, that these drugs work the same in everyone. And that specifically the weight loss drugs will melt fat away and that you lose all the fat you want. And I'm going to be talking a lot about that because that's one of the biggest issues and things that I see is that, yes, people are losing weight on the scale, but it doesn't necessarily mean an improvement in health. It doesn't necessarily mean an improvement in body composition. And that's one of my biggest concerns in terms of what big picture happens with folks. So while weight loss drugs suppress appetite, they do not override, poor eating habits. So if you have continued consumption of high calorie or unhealthy foods, it can reduce the drug's effectiveness. Um, and it really, as you'll see as I get going, like the underlying philosophies of needing to eat a nutrient-rich diet and learning your own hunger cues and appropriate portions is really foundational regardless. Like these drugs can provide an acceleration, but it's still your healthy day-to-day patterns are really what are going to get sustained results. Um, Many individuals do experience weight regain after discontinuing the medication, especially if they don't have these healthy lifestyle habits in place. So the drugs can help with an initial weight loss, but long-term success is really about a proper diet and the physical activity component, and just understanding the mechanisms of what these drugs do in the body to um, support better metabolic health. And the biggest things that we do see is that they have side effects, and for some folks really severe: nausea, diarrhea, um, constipation, just yeah, pain if eating too much slowing of the stomach, and issues developed from that. In severe conditions, there can be pancreatitis. So we really do feel like we have to work in conjunction with medical doctors about these medications, and that the doctor has to be really educated about dosages, how to take the dose slowly with folks, and the lifestyle factors that need to go in conjunction with it. Because I see that for some folks, there's a lot of toxins stored in the fat, and that's part of the reason why their body's been so stubborn to lose weight anyway. And then we start forcing the body into dumping that fat. The toxins start moving too rapidly too, and that contributes to people feeling very unwell. And so um, doing these medications in conjunction with someone like myself, a holistic nutritionist that can do a detox program along with it, can be huge. It can be really, really helpful. So the foundation of these medications are about working on GLP-1. And so, in a lot of the ads that are on TV, it's talking all about GLP-1. There are now more GLP-1 supplements out there, and people are hearing this buzzword. And so, I wanted to dive into, well, what does it mean? And how can you understand it better so then you can utilize just the inherent benefits of GLP-1? So it stands for glucagon like peptide 1. So, glucagon is a hormone produced by the pancreas, helps raise blood sugar levels. It does this by signaling the liver to release stored glucose into the bloodstream, especially when blood sugar is too low. And a peptide is a short chain of amino acids. And amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, and they're all linked together. And peptides act as signals in the body, and they play so many different roles in the body, particularly with hormones and neurotransmitters. So, GLP-1 stimulates insulin release. It triggers the pancreas to produce more insulin when blood sugar levels are high, such as after eating. And insulin is critical for helping the body to use glucose for energy and store it for future use. By increasing insulin release, GLP-1 helps lower our blood sugar levels, which is especially beneficial for people with diabetes. And that is how these drugs were initially developed, and why they were initially developed. And GLP-1 also inhibits glucagon secretion. Glucagon is a hormone that raises blood sugar levels by signaling the liver to convert stored glycogen into glucose and releasing it into the bloodstream. So GLP-1 reduces the release of glucagon, helping prevent blood sugar spikes after meals. This hormone, GLP-1, delays gastric emptying, so it slows down the rate at which food leaves our stomach. This delay in gastric emptying helps regulate the pace which nutrients enter the bloodstream, prevents rapid increase in blood sugar, and contributes to a prolonged sense of fullness after eating. And GLP-1 enhances our feeling of fullness, right? Feeling satiated. It acts on the brain's appetite centers. So by enhancing the sensation of fullness, people reduce their food intake, which is why it plays a key role in weight management. So there are these drugs, Ozempic and Wegovy, are peptides called semaglutide, and they are GLP-1 agonists. So they sit on the receptor of GLP-1 and have more of it stay in circulation in the body. And that's often why these drugs have people eating less overall. They have less of an appetite. They feel full faster. And it's how it directly helps increase insulin and bring down blood sugar. Right. And so I got a little ahead of myself, but that's what this slide says. So they mimic the action of natural GLP-1 in the body. And so we see that people are managing their blood sugar more effectively, right? I have a client who, once she went on to Ozempic, her A1C was lower than it had been for years, and she'd been on metformin. So it suppresses appetite by interacting with the brain's appetite regulation centers. Yeah, people are eating less, they're losing weight. And the slowing of gastric emptying, people are feeling less hungry. They're feeling full for longer after their meals. They're able to go longer between meals without cravings. But unfortunately, that while they can be effective, right, the side effects for some people are severe and really inhibit what I think of as an ability for these to be really, getting in the way of how these drugs impact their day-to-day life. So nausea can be a big one, especially when first starting the medication. And so then people are maybe losing weight too rapidly because they're really feeling nauseous and not eating enough. It can be enough nausea that you're vomiting. I find that the medication really impacts the liver, so there can be diarrhea, there can be constipation. Of course, there can be stomach pain and discomfort, especially as you're learning to eat and things are slowing and empty, the stomach is emptying so slowly for some people, depending on their starting dose or how quickly they're building up their dose, um, that it feels really uncomfortable, right? And it's hard to put even more food into the system. Um, and so, yeah, I have had clients where the side effects have been severe enough that they've developed gallbladder problems, or it's led to losing their gallbladder, or that the amount of management needed for the constipation and the nausea, takes up ma- majority of their time, in between their doses, um, and really makes them question, whether they should be using the medication. For some people, those side effects do lessen over time, and I do think strongly that they are very dose specific. I do think there's a tendency for the dose to get built up pretty quickly in folks, and that I think going low and slow is definitely something that I've seen be very successful for people. Let me just check something right here. So some less common side effects can be headaches, fatigue, dizziness. And more serious side effects can be pancreatitis, inflammation of the pancreas, which can cause severe stomach pain, nausea, and vomiting. Gallbladder issues, as I mentioned, increased risk of gallstones, gallbladder inflammation. There can be kidney problems if you're vomiting or having a lot of diarrhea. And there have been cases of thyroid tumors in animal studies, so it's unclear if this happens in humans, but folks with a history of thyroid cancer are advised to avoid these medications. And in rare cases, there's severe allergic reactions, feeling rash, itching, or swelling. Right. So many people need to lose weight, right? We have such crisis of metabolic issues, especially in the United States. And so people need to lose weight. I totally understand that some people are metabolically unhealthy enough. They need a catalyst or they need something to help shift the direction. Um, but my question is, we want you to lose weight, but we also want you to be healthier, big picture, and in the long run. And and so we need to question, like, how are these drugs being used? Are people healthier in the long run? Because there's growing concerns about deficiency with decreased food intake, right? It can be decreased appetite, means decreased intake of nutrients. So there can be vitamin, mineral deficiencies, essential fatty acid deficiencies, amino acid deficiencies. These can all occur. And that's why I think people on these medications need to put an even extra attention on their diet and their nutrient density, and potentially do quite a bit of supplementation to make sure that they're getting everything that their body needs to repair itself and function optimally. And then there's a major concern about loss of lean muscle mass, um, because these medications are potent, right? Studies have shown that 40% of the weight loss on them is due to loss of lean muscle mass. And this is due to people not eating enough, not eating the right foods, and not making lifestyle changes that are needed to maintain and build muscle. And this is one of the biggest reasons why people gain the weight back when they stop. Um, and so weight training is key, um, to maintain and build muscle, and eating a really nutrient dense diet, prioritizing protein, which I'm going to talk a lot more about. Because ultimately, right, it's not just what the scale says in terms of the weight that you're losing. It's really about the body composition numbers. And we want people to be losing the fat that they need to lose, but not losing their lean muscle mass, which is going to support so many functions in the body. So if you are taking a drug like Ozempic and Wegovy, right, of course, follow this schedule, be in communication with your doctor, potentially talk to your doctor about starting at a lower dose or staying at a lower dose. You want to stay hydrated, monitor your blood sugar levels, especially if you are diabetic, because we've seen people have some pretty quick drops in blood sugar, like really quick shifts in their A1C. And so other things might need to be modified based off of that. Um, talk to your doctor, of course, if you're experiencing side effects, and see what you can, what could potentially be changed about that. And then dive in deep with healthy lifestyle and exercise. And that's what I'm going to jump into. Because there are so many natural ways to support GLP-1, right? And so many natural ways that we can support blood sugar control, work on reducing appetite, support overall metabolic health. Eating more protein is a huge one that I'm just going to keep emphasizing, because that makes you feel more full and satisfied. And it's overall, eating more protein actually stimulates GLP-1 release. Also, eating high fiber foods, your vegetables, your fruits, your legumes, can enhance GLP-1 production. The fiber slows your digestion, that delays your glucose absorption, again, helps you feel more full. And soluble fiber found in apples and flax seeds is particularly effective. Eating healthy fats is a must. So fats from avocados, olive oil, nuts, and seeds, they stimulate GLP-1 release. They help slow digestion, help you feel more full. But being really careful to make sure that you're not eating trans fats and processed fats, because those bog down the liver, negatively affect metabolism, and can really undermine what you're trying to do. And a healthy gut microbiome is linked to better GLP-1 function too. So much of our GLP-1 is actually produced in the gut. So eating fermented foods like yogurts, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, so give the probiotics that support the gut health, which can improve GLP-1. The fibers, which can, are all the prebiotics that feed the good bacteria. It's another plug for fiber to support GLP-1 production. So exercising regularly, particularly strength training, can help GLP-1 levels naturally. It enhances insulin sensitivity. So this all works synergistically together. And of course is huge in terms of maintaining your muscle. Getting enough sleep is essential for hormone regulation in general, but this includes GLP-1. Poor sleep is associated with decreased GLP-1 levels and increased appetite overall. So really aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night supports weight loss in general. Practicing intermittent fasting, right? So there's so many different ways you can do intermittent fasting. So doing it for even short period, what we consider shorter periods of time, right? 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating. Even that's been shown to increase GLP-1 levels by regulating appetite hormones and blood sugar. But there are so many different ways to fast, and women need to fast differently than men. This is an area where I really recommend that you work with someone who's educated in intermittent fasting and hormones, so they can help you to figure out what's the right way for you to fast. And avoiding refined carbohydrates and sugary foods. So refined carbs and sugars lead to these rapid blood sugar spikes, and then that leads to a subsequent crash. And this reduces the body's natural GLP-1 response. So if we're choosing complex carbohydrates, and your vegetables are definitely your priority complex carbohydrate that break down and digest slowly, this supports steady GLP-1 production. And these are all things that I believe fundamentally everybody should be doing, but especially if you are on one of these GLP-1 agonist medications. Consuming bitter foods and herbs. So this would be like dandelion greens, chicory root, green tea. They stimulate digestive hormone release, which also includes GLP-1. And yeah, these bitter tasting foods, I feel like people do not get enough of in their diet in general. And they are one of my favorite tools to enhance digestion and absorption overall. And then a whole other topic and conversation is managing stress. Chronic stress can negatively impact GLP-1 and other hormones. So I always advise folks, pick something that speaks to you, right? Is it meditation? Is it actually learning how to breathe properly and do deep breathing? Is it getting out and taking a walk? Is it having a yoga practice? Um, Finding what works for you is so important because stress impacts everybody. And drinking green tea. So, green tea contains specific compounds which support GLP-1 levels and support and promote fat metabolism. Let's dive a little bit more into protein because that is my mantra um, when people are wanting to lose weight overall, but especially when folks are on these medications that are forcing their body to lose weight more rapidly. Because protein is essential for the body's structure and function. It's integral for building and repairing tissues. It supports metabolic function and enzyme production. It's a huge part of hormone regulation and immune function, maintaining the body's fluid balance, providing energy, and supporting feeling full and weight management. So, one effective approach for reaching your protein goal is to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight and to eat this every day. So, an easy example, if your goal weight is 150 pounds, you consume 150 grams of protein daily. And this amount ensures that you're supporting muscle maintenance, metabolic function, and overall health, especially if you're in the process of losing weight. And this is where food journaling is key. It can be so eye opening. Um, we have all of our clients do it. There are a lot of different great apps like uh, MyFitnessPal or Chronometer. These are ways where you can enter what you're eating every day and it will tally up your grams of protein for you so you can see how much you're having. Because most people are going to be shocked how low they are with their protein. And it takes deliberate effort to get to a number like 150 grams a day. Often you need help like with supplementation, and I'll speak more about that. I find that using certain protein powders can really help too. There are just ways, yeah, you have to be really conscientious about it. But gosh, does it make a difference? People see overall increased energy levels. They definitely build muscle, lose fat, feel fuller. Yeah, it helps tremendously with cravings. So I recommend you see where you're at, where you're starting, and then you start to build up. And I don't recommend jumping to 150 grams if you're at 60 a day, but I recommend that you start building yourself up. So we have so many clients supplement with amino acids, especially if they're on these weight loss drugs. Um, but just in general, because most people are not able to eat the amount of protein that they need for their bodies to repair themselves. So while whole foods are an amazing source of protein, supplements such as amino acids and protein powders can help you fill the gaps, ensure you're getting all the essential amino acids your body needs, because essential amino acids are the building blocks of protein that the body cannot make, so they must come from your diet. So the supplementing, right, as I was saying, meeting those daily protein goals um, and supporting muscle recovery and growth. The amino acids are crucial for muscle repair. So as you're doing weightlifting, right, you're supporting your body and building muscle. The amino acids are so important. And ensuring this complete amino acid profile I keep mentioning, because some protein sources lack all the essential amino acids. And so supplementing can just make sure that you're filling in all the gaps. You're getting the basic requirements for optimal health and energy. And so I love Perfect Aminos from Body Health. We carry it at the Nutritional Wellness Center. It's available in tablets. It's available in a powder that you can drink. And it's an easy way, an effective way to um, to support those protein goals. And it's what I use, right? So um, I eat, I track my protein and I eat protein regularly. A pretty easy math that I do in my head is if I get 30 grams per meal, and I've learned now what I need to do to get to 30 grams per meal, and I eat 3 times a day, then right there I've got 90 grams. And then I supplement with amino acids to help me get the rest of the way of where I need to be. But now let me talk about a fun, exciting new alternative that I think is very unique in the supplement market, that is a product that is a GLP-1 booster. And it's called Curb, and it's from a company called Modere. And I've been working with Modere's liquid collagen for years, and I love it. It's a very um, unique, high absorbed collagen product. And I think, and this product Curb just came out about a month ago. I've personally been taking it. Well, I guess it came out a little bit over a month ago because I have been taking it for about a month, and I'm eager to talk to you about it as an alternative to these weight loss drugs, or potentially a tool to help someone wean off these weight loss drugs if they're really struggling with the side effects, um, because it is designed specifically support a very similar function. So it's a dietary supplement. It's a powder. You put it in water. It tastes good, right? And it's designed to help manage appetite, support weight loss, reduce cravings. Again, you have to pair it with lifestyle changes. You have to keep in the diet. You have to keep in the protein. Have to do the exercise, right? Um, but it enhances your efforts. And I will speak specifically to what I've observed with myself about that. So includes a lot of natural plant extracts. It contains green tea extract, right, known for its antioxidant properties and what are called thermogenic benefits, right, of helping the body burn fat. Um, it contains a fruit extract, right, which contains HCA, which has been proven to support weight loss, inhibit appetite, inhibit fat storage. Has chromium. Chromium is a mineral, plays a role in blood sugar regulation and helping to curb cravings. And it contains L-carnitine, which is a really important amino acid to transport fatty acids into cells to be burned for energy, supporting fat metabolism. But there are some really unique ways that Curb is designed to that I think I don't know of anything else that does this at this time, right? So it contains some very specific fibers, and if you remember me talking about fiber earlier, the fibers are what make you feel full. And so the thing with Curb is it's a powder. You put it in water, you have to shake it and drink it really quickly, because if you let it sit, you'll see that it actually starts to thicken up, and that the fibers really start to expand rapidly. So one of the first ways that Curb has immediate results of helping decrease appetite, decrease cravings, have you feel full between meals, is the fiber component. And when you drink it quickly and then you follow it up with more water, there can be an immediate feeling of full from the fiber, which can be very helpful, particularly for people who have like cravings at 3 p.m. And that's a time where they just start to get into trouble, just not able to go from lunch until dinner, and looking for a quick sugar fix, right? And there could be many underlying causes for those types of cravings. They're not necessarily eating enough protein, they're overall struggling with blood sugar balance, um, or there's a stress and energy response happening at that time of day. But the Curb helps you move through that time. Um, and then the second unique component of Curb is the bioflavonoids that are in it. And this is actually the clinical trials that have been done on this particular bioflavonoid blend are the cool science behind this product, being shown about how they uniquely boost GLP-1 production. And so over time, as people are taking Curb, right, we see support of the GLP-1 levels, we see better blood sugar support, and we start to see more body composition change. And then Curb also has very specific prebiotics in it that over time, more in the months of taking the product, they support a very specific bacteria in the gut called Akkermansia. And the Akkermansia has been shown in trials to boost GLP-1 And interestingly, in leaner individuals overall, studies have shown that leaner individuals have a higher level of Akkermansia bacteria in their gut. And if you remember me saying that so much of GLP-1 production happens in the gut, this is one of the long-term ways that curb gets the changes that we're looking from in a completely safe, totally natural supplement form, which I think is very exciting. Yeah, the company has done trials overall where they've led groups of people taking this product, right? And overall, people report less cravings, less hunger, less food noise, um, ability to just eat their meals per day and stop snacking. People are seeing body composition change, weight loss overall. Yeah, I wanted to share some great testimonials from the product, right? This is one woman who took it for 8 weeks, and this was combining it with lifestyle changes, right? She was not snacking between meals. She was increasing her protein, and she lost 35 pounds and 8.5 inches. This is another client losing. It's not my personal client, but this is a person who was in the trials, the clinical trials on the product, and she lost 17 pounds and over. I think they initially had people take it for 3 months. Yeah, the trial was done over a 3-month period. And this is another man, right? He was just found that he had tried a bunch of fad diets. He'd always been on and off these healthier habits. He's stress eating. But at the point that this picture was taken, he had stuck to this plan for 13 weeks and he'd even traveled in between and lost weight, right? And just felt better overall. My own personal experience, right? As I say, I think I'm on week 6 of taking the product. Did I say maybe it's 4 to 6 weeks? Okay. Um, and I'm someone who, I've definitely been working hard, particularly this past year, on stress management, on getting to the gym more regularly, doing more weight training, and of course, I've been tracking my protein for years and really working on dialing in the diet aspect. Um, but I do struggle with cravings in the afternoon or when I'm prepping dinner for my kids. I'm already hungry and just start snacking on things. Particularly, I crave fats, and so I find myself like eating too many nut butters or things like that. And since being on Curb, I have definitely observed that the food noise is quieter, right? Like I am calm between my meals. The afternoons have gone much easier for me. Um, I'm someone who has, like, gosh, lifelong issues of struggling with blood sugar and that have improved so much with the ways I've learned to take care of myself and doing the technique we use in the Office of Nutrition Response Testing, right? I've made such advancements with my blood sugar, but it just got just a level more stable this past month. Um, and then I've had body composition changes, right? So I have just noticed that particularly my pants it's looser. I've lost inch around my thighs and around my waist and around my hips. And so I'm excited to continue to take it and see particularly the benefits of taking it longer term on the microbiome. And then I'm eager to follow up with blood work too and just see how it impacts me that way. Um, Great. So I am eager to answer questions if anybody has them. And I hope that you come away from this talk with an understanding about some of the risks of weight loss drugs, also understanding how they are unique in the sense of how they can really push folks who are very metabolically unhealthy into a healthier regulation when they are done correctly. And a big takeaway of just these really important steps that need to be applied to do these drugs correctly. And that they are things that, in general, anyone who's struggling with their weight, struggling with their metabolic health, need to apply anyway. And having some more details about how that's done. And if you are interested in an alternative, then there are this is cutting edge information, and there are more alternatives in the works. And I think Curb is very unique in terms of what it's offering that can mimic um, the effectiveness of these types of drugs with none of the risk and none of the side effects. And if you're interested in learning more about it or interested in how to get a hold of it, dropping me a note in the chat, and I can email you a link where you get $25 off your first order, or contacting the Nutritional Wellness Center, sending us an email at info@nutritionalwellnesscenter.com, or calling the office. We are happy to help you and consult with you and see if it would be a good fit for you. All right, so let me just check the chat, see what my questions are. Great, thanks, Lisa. I'm so glad you found the information helpful. Great, yeah, I look forward to talking to you more. But those of you who are clients, talking to you more about it in your appointments. I'm just going to stop the recording.